Hey guys, welcome to part 2. Now, if you're like this guy who just got here,
I don't know, I just got here.
then definitely check out my part 1 so you're all caught up. So another reason why I want to get rid of the cats is because I'm trying to get the engine temperature and like the whole temperature in the engine bay down. It just runs way too hot with the cats in there because there's 4 of them and like they're massive. And also because those cats that get everything really hot around it and they're kind of really stuffed up in the engine bay. So just by removing them, it's just gonna cool everything down. Another reason is because there are these temperature sensors in the exhaust and they go up to these exhaust modules. So by getting rid of the cats, it's not gonna affect these modules anymore because those modules are very common to go. And if they go, the car goes into limp mode, then you don't have full power anymore. Like you're doing a rally or you're driving around, all of a sudden your car is in limp mode. That really blows, right? So there's a lot of benefits just getting rid of the cats in general, and not even the sound, but it's just gonna run a lot cooler and be more reliable, and it's not gonna burn down on you, right? So that's one of the reasons why I wanna get rid of them. Okay, this is where I'm at. This whole brace here has to come off. The reason being, this is the belt tensioner over there. This is the idler pulley, AC compressor pulley. This is the alternator. Now the problem is trying to get this belt on. There's no room, but I could get it off, but I'm not sure how I'll be able to get this belt back on once basically I slide this back on. So to get that out, I have to take this oil tank out, drain the oil, just tie a couple of lines, and then hopefully I'm thinking that I could just take this out without taking everything out over here. Okay, got the oil tank out. I apologize for the background noise. I have my heater running here because it's still -2 outside. Anyway, so now what we want to do is we got to take these 2 braces off. So we're trying to get this whole bracket off. So I started pulling some wiring. This I just don't understand. So this goes to the alternator here. I disconnected it and I'm just pulling this wiring out. As you can see, we get a better view. Why did they run this wire in the middle here? Why not just run it through the side over here? Run it through the side because it connects over there. Like, why run it through the middle here? But basically, I have to discharge the AC system. I do have to remove these lines. To discharge the AC system, I have to take off the front trunk tub. Hello, Manu. So just doing that now. Some 4 screws here, and I think this is lets out, and then the AC ports are behind that. So took out the power cable from the alternator and I put some tape over it because this is live 12 volts and I don't want it touching and sparking anything. Next up is, this is the alternator with this 2 cooling lines going through it because a water cooled alternator. So I'm just gonna take these clamps off and just plug it up instead of draining the complete coolant over here. But before you wanna do that, you wanna make sure that you open up the coolant cap here. Let any pressure that's in the system release because you don't want take these out. As soon as you take these out, coolant is gonna blast spray everywhere. To avoid that and make sure it relieves the pressure first, and then go ahead and cap this back up. And then I'm gonna take out, how many spins this is gonna have, man. Okay. Another cool feature I found on this car. So this is the AC compressor, and these are the AC lines. Now, you're probably wondering what these 2 are connected to the AC line that goes to the compressor. So these are actually fuel lines. This is to cool the fuel lines off. So when you have an AC running, this gets very cold. And then fuel comes in here, cools off, and then goes through there. So you're getting some nice cold fuel in the engine for a better combustion. So before I evacuate the AC, I just want to make sure how much pressure is in there cold off. So it's between 45 to 65 in the yellow. Okay, so I got all the lines out. I think I might have overreacted before where I thought everything else has to come out. So I think it's just like a bit of bolts left and I should be able to take this brace out. Let me show you what it looks like right now. This is what it looks like now. So I'm pretty sure I have to take off this, and down here should be able to pull this back. Again, I don't think that taking it out is a problem. It's just putting it in is a problem. I just hope I could get this tensioner properly. I could reach it without removing the whole strut brace on the top over here. Oh, this is rusty. That's interesting. It did move, so let's see if it comes out now. Okay, so it's super loose now. It wants to come off. I think just gotta take this heat shield cover off. It goes down to there, connected there. It's a heat cover protecting the alternator from the exhaust. Just gonna take that out and hopefully just back this thing out then. If I just push this belt off, reduce some tension. Hopefully take that off now. Here it is. This one seems okay, the tensioner, but this pulley here was really bad. Had a lot of play in it and bearing noise, so. But if I'm in here, I'm gonna replace all of them. There's 1, 2, and then the tensioner here, and obviously the bearing inside of here. It's the main reason why I took this whole system apart. So I'm gonna go ahead and take the alternator off, and then I'm gonna start removing the pulley from the AC compressor. Connor, what are you doing? I'm working. Go. Anyway, so let's see how bad the bearing in here looks. We did this one. It's just a cover that goes on. Surprisingly, no noise or no play, but I guess it was just the right time to do this now. Because one of the pulleys was bad and then this is going, so I think I got this at a perfect time.
2 hours later.
I just spent 2 hours just trying to take this pulley out of this whole brace over here because this was completely seized on this. So amount of torching, heating, grinding, pulling, hammering that I did, it took a really long time. Like this was really stuck in there. Just got the new parts. Let's take a look. Brand new belt. I have the new tensioner here. And the new 2 idler pulleys. And this would be the bearing over here. So let's take a look at the bearing here. So this is a bearing that I'm going to be pressing into this. This is the old bearing. The new one's going to go in here. Honestly, guys, the next time I do this job, there's no way I'm going to be doing all this. I'm just going to buy a new pulley and a new, there's a nut that goes on this. We're buying a new nut as well. So I'm not going to be doing all of this again because this is just a giant waste of time. So that's finally done, out of the way. Now let's move on to the fun part. I could finally see, let me try to get some light in there. Okay, that's one of the clamps I gotta get to. There was a bar in the middle here. that ran across from here to here. This is actually a fuel line that connects the two gas tanks together. So I got rid of that bar. There's a brace bar over here just to have a little bit more room. And that's the other clamp over here that I gotta get off. There's actually another top side of that. That's just the one on the bottom. I gotta get the one at the top too. I can't even see it right now, but it's like really up there and I just don't know how to get to that right now. Let me see. I did take off the access plate. So hopefully, okay, you can see a little bit better here. That's that other clamp that I want to get off up there. So these are the modules that I was referring to that get really hot and then go into limp mode because they're so close to the cats and the engine. This module here, so the temp sensors connect to this. So I do have to disconnect these sensors as they're gonna come out with the exhaust that I'm removing. So I'm just gonna disconnect them here. And also there's a relocation kit I'm gonna be installing because there's a TSB Bolton out for these to be mounted somewhere more cooler, like not here, I'm not sure somewhere else, but I'm gonna be installing that kit as well to make sure that this module here, it doesn't fry out and put me into limp mode. So I'm just undoing these wiring now to make sure it comes out with the exhaust. So I'm able to see the top clamp now. It's right over there. So I'm just gonna try to remove some things that are in the way. And hopefully I can have a little bit more room. I'm gonna get rid of this connection over here. Try to just disconnect it from here so I'm able to reach it from that side. And on the left driver's side, I do see the clamp. It's all the way down. It's hard to really see still. So anyway, it is over there, right there. So I'm gonna see. Hopefully I don't have to remove too much. I do have to get rid of this pipe and I'm able to put my hand through in there. Hopefully I can get it out then. Okay, got that clamp out of the way. Let's see if this will come out now. Something. I'm gonna have to remove this shield as well. Might as well do it for this side as well, just in case. Hopefully it comes out after. For the driver's side, what I ended up doing is taking out the air box that was here. And I think that was a better idea than removing the coolant bottle to get to that top clamp because I don't want to make a big mess and there's a lot of coolant in there and I don't want to ruin my floors. So I ended up taking the air box and the pipes out. I also ended up taking out the O2 sensor. This is a primary O2 sensor. Took that out of the way and now that's the clamp. So give me a lot more room to work with here. And now, so grab my trusty electric ratchet and let's try to take this clamp out now. Definitely don't want to drop that nut, especially in that hole. Yeah, I do not want to drop that nut in that hole. Definitely not.
Bro, what are you talking about, man?
I'm gonna hand remove it. All right, got the nut out. Now, the problem with these clamps are that they are seized and stuck on. So what I'm gonna try to do is just use a pry bar. Try to get a pry in there and just try to lift it up that way. So you grab my trusty long pry bar. Oops. See if I can get in there. A little bit of zoom in there. You guys can see better. Just gonna try to pry this up. Hopefully that works. So. Yeah, I can imagine how much tougher this job would be to have that whole brace that I took out in the way. Also had to move this oil pipe that was in the way. I just had to disconnect it from here. A little bit of oil came out, not that much. Just moved it out of the way and then finally got it out. So this is what it looks like. That's where the pipes are sitting. That's the driver's side. And this is the passenger side. As you can see, there's two on each side because this car does have 4 banks. Okay, now let's take a look at these pipes here. I'm pretty sure the inner diameter is the same on these, but yeah, these are a lot lighter than this, so it'll definitely be a little bit of weight savings as well. I'm just hoping that these are a lot more simpler to install than these guys because hopefully there's more room to work with, or they're lighter, but we'll see how that goes. But first, I do have to swap over these temperature sensors over to the new pipe. All right, just finishing up putting the temperature sensors back in. I'm going to test fit this to see how it's gonna fit. So, got my light going. Show this in there. See how it's gonna fit. This is the top. Gotta be careful I grab it. It has a lot of pointy edges. Okay, so. Looks like it fits pretty well. I'm holding it at the moment. Just want to make sure that this is the right side. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to preload the clamps on here before I slide it in. This way it'll be a lot easier for me to just tighten up the clamps. Alright, so I got the clamps preloaded on both sides, top and bottom. Now let's try to slide this guy in. That's good. One of the clamps just fell off. Alright guys, I think I'm gonna call it here. I'm gonna finish my mango juice and I'm gonna go home. I'll see you guys for part 3. Thanks for watching, guys.